That is clear, but seemingly, so our tens, what? It's not yet considered tens if we don't see our influence.
No, no.
So what is it?
A 10 is a complete group where each one completes the other, where they can all be as one man in one heart to an extent. And then they are ready. When we are connected together, we are ready to bestow contentment upon the Creator. So in order to bestow contentment upon the Creator, they emerge from the connection between them to a more external connection as well. Why? Because through this external bestowal, they bestow upon the Creator. They bring him new vessels, new corrected vessels.
This is clear. So why should the birth of humanity now happen through the media?
The media is... they're revealing to us the kinds of connections we have between us in this network between people, what connections we have there, and how this connection is far from the proper kind. And we owe them great thanks for doing it. It's not them. The Creator played with them in such a way, manipulated them, so that they can show us how we connect to each other and what we need to fix. Because everything depends on the connection, yes? On the connection. So you can see then what connection you have with human society, who governs you.
Ken.
Yes.
Well, a question that a friend sent. Let's say here in Israel, we see that on the one hand, the country is leading with the corona, but it turns out that we're in the worst state. You mentioned it before. Why is it so?
Because it's our fault. It's our fault. Where did the coronavirus come from? From the lack of connection between us, like every other problem. Who's guilty of that lack of connection? The Jews, Israel. And they deserve it. That's why it is revealed in them.
So what is it, the opposite, in the opposite way?
It can be opposite, inverse. It can be otherwise. It's like in the Middle Ages where all sorts of diseases came to the nations of the world and they didn't reach the Jews. So also they turned to the Jews and said, how come you're not suffering? How come you're not sick? Then there was this excuse. The explanation was that the Jews lived secluded from others. They lived in a ghetto that protected them, and they would wash at least once a week before the Shabbat, the Saturday, while the nations of the world didn't have these customs. Yes. And also they kept kosher and all those things which obligated people to have everything marinated in salt and so on. There are all sorts of corporeal explanations, but that's what they thought, right? It was different back then. The Jews were more healthy than the nations during the time of that plague, but now it's different. Now it's the last generation, and so I don't think it will be better for us, only worse. The more we invest, and certainly we'll invest more than others, and then we will see that, to our sorrow, seemingly, sadly, seemingly, it doesn't help until it will teach us, maybe not all at once, maybe through several times, we will learn that the connection between us brings the right force that takes care of all these problems, including the pandemic.